All right, welcome back, guys. Second one of the week. Delighted to have our silver medalist winning head coach, Tommy O'Mahony, third of actually that coaching panel. So it's very exciting, a topic after my own heart. Full court basketball. I think Tommy's going to touch mostly on pressing. So I'm very interested to hear his teaching points and where he's going with all this. But I think we're in for an exciting night. But I guess, like I did with Danny, I just probably feel I need to do a few get to know you questions. And I suppose, Tommy, you're in Waterford at the minute. You're a Kerry man at heart. Tell us about how you got there.
I suppose I went to college in Waterford and I got involved in a basketball club there. And then I got a job in the school in Waterford and I kind of stayed there ever since, to be honest.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. And I guess a question I've known a few people who've been on that kind of medal journey at the Euros, and I've always asked them the emotional adrenaline of what they felt from day one, and then realizing that they were getting into contention and how the atmosphere improved, what sort of emotions emerged that you may have had to handle, your own emotions, the staff emotions. Did you have to temper any expectations, things like that? What sort of emotional journey did you see develop in front of you?
Well, I suppose going into the tournament, like we sat down with all the girls before the tournament started, and I didn't have anything to do with them. I gave them aspirations, what they wanted to do, and I think they came up with they wanted to go a step further than they had before. So a big thing for them was they wanted to get to the top four. They had been to the quarterfinal, but they'd never been to the top of four before. So that aspiration was always there. Obviously in the tournament going through, I always knew they were a good team, and I suppose everyone knew they were a good team. So it was kind of easy to get that expectation, in the tournament. But as the games went on, then it was like night after night. So it was basically we didn't have time to look what we did. After the quarterfinal, we had to look straight for the semi-final, work into. So it was kind of we were in, just working from day to day. So we didn't even have time to think about it. And to be honest, I don't think players had much time to think about it until it was all over.
Yeah, and I guess I was at a bunch of games. And I think I was at about maybe 4 of the 8. Had to go home in between, and each night you could sense the expectation or the increase emotional, even in the stands. How did you handle that?
Well, it's one thing that I made sure going into the tournament that we worried about ourselves. I used to being tournaments away, and I hear where players get texts from their coach and they should be doing this. And one thing I warned the girls is, like, whether we're here or away, we got to do our own thing regardless of what happens. So I was kind of trying to keep them away from that. I know it's hard, especially being at home and your full stadiums and so on. But I think we did a good enough job, guarding from all of what was happening around the place, and we were just focused on what we needed to do. And I suppose we had goals and we needed to work to them, and I think we did okay in the finish.
I think you did extremely well. I mean, like, obviously that Germany team was top notch, and a couple of those German girls ended up going to Oregon. So I mean, that just has the standard they were at. So I guess, your staff around you, I'm assuming, had a massive influence to play on that. Can you talk to me about the chemistry of the staff and how that kind of plays out?
Yeah, I suppose there was six of us involved in the staff. So with any staff, it's up to you as I suppose the head coach. You have to give them duties and what they need you to do. Whether it's video, and I suppose Kieran will testify to this. He had a lot of work to do with looking at all different teams and so on, and I was kind of thorough on what we needed to do, like with a scouting report. And I know he says he was up till 3 o'clock in the morning doing Macedonia, but look, we prepared for Macedonia as the same way as we prepared for Germany. So, and same with the assistant coaches. Niall was in charge of the warm up or doing this or different defensive stuff and so on. So I suppose it's to manage that expectation, and like, there's a lot of work to do, and just make sure we spread it out amongst the staff.
That was fantastic to hear that sort of camaraderie and development within your own staff. So let's get into the basketball element of it, and let's see what you're going to present to us tonight. And I'm very much looking forward to maybe some nugget teaching points I can adopt and take to our own guys. So, Tommy, all yours, my man.
Perfect. Can you see that screen now?
Yep.
Okay. First of all, I'd just like to thank Paul for giving me this opportunity to speak. It's always nice to be able to share your knowledge with everyone, you know. So start with just talking about full court defense. So I go introduction. So why we do it, when you do it, how you do it, a bit about positives and negatives. What press to use, a small bit about the attributes, concepts, small bit about trapping. We'll go. Now I'm not going to go in depth in any of these. I'll talk a small bit about zones, do a small bit of clips, and then I'll show you one or two drills that I use a lot. So reasons for running the full court press. Now, create turnovers. Now, I will say about creating turnovers, it's not any one. So it's not, okay, we solely do it for one of these reasons. It's not a case of when you press, or whether it's zone press or man press, you're going to get turnovers. Against the better teams, you're not going to do that. So I don't expect to do it. So I expect to have you have a system that slows them down or so on. But you're not always going to do these the whole time. To dictate the pace of the game. All right, so you want to play a fast game, so you want to speed the other team up. Another way to score. It happened to me a few times where our team's not really good in the half court set. So they're not a good shooting team or so on. So we've got to find other ways to score. So obviously when you press, you're looking to score off turnovers or so on. Offense. What I'll say about offense is, to be honest, I only realized this probably a year or so after I was doing it. Like, especially with the European teams and, you know, coaching in Europe, that if you're practicing full court defense the whole time, right, your offense has to get better. All right. So like a word that I use a lot is make sure they're uncomfortable. All right. Have you put your person uncomfortable? All right. Are they uncomfortable in the situation? Right. And I know John Calipari, his saying is make sure you're comfortable at being uncomfortable. All right. So if someone's, you know, is a good point guard, but they're under pressure the whole time, because that's like in most of all the European games that I've coached, I don't think everyone presses somehow. All right, and you're always under pressure. So if you've got that constant pressure the whole time, you're bound to get used to it, and it does help your offense. All right. So when to run a full court press. So obviously there's different times when you run it against a team with poor decision makers, against a team with a limited bench. Obviously it takes a lot of energy to run a full court press. Against a team with a great half court offense who like to play slow. All right. So if someone is way better than you in half court, all right, so you have to negate that, all right, by doing something else. All right. So you're running a full court, whether it's zone or man. You need a burst of energy. A lot of players tend to like pressing because it's something different besides the half court. All right. So again, you might, to switch up the defense, all right, you might need something different, whether it's for a minute or two, what you're doing at the moment is not working, so you're switching up to this. Against a team with a star player, all right, so you want to get the ball into the point guard's hands. You don't want the point guard to be the decision maker, all right. So again, you deny the point guard, all right, and you let someone else be decision maker. When you wanted to surprise someone, all right, so you might do it after a timeout when they're not expecting it, and again, comfortable outside their comfort zone, all right. So you don't want to let them to keep doing what they normally do. When you're facing bigger opponents, this obviously happens in the Europeans a lot when you're playing bigger people. So obviously if you press them, they're not likely to dribble the ball up the floor or so on. Obviously give them less time on offense to run a set. So what I mean by that is, so when you press them, by the time they get the ball up the floor, it'd be 17 or 18 seconds and they're still frazzled by the time you press. So by the time they get into their set, they've only like 14, 15 seconds. So you're reducing that time as well. So again, hopefully they're going to rush that as well. All right. So it's not alone. There's not one reason why you would press somebody. And obviously the last one then is late in the game when you need to get the ball back, which everyone tends to do. Negatives. Can be bad for underage development. Now obviously there's some rules in there about pressing at underage, but like if you've this one athletic player is going to steal the ball the whole time and just keep running in layups, you're not developing everybody else. Takes a lot of time to teach. What I'll say about it takes a lot of time, especially zone. And then if you've got an hour session and you're trying to teach zone, you're going to spend a half an hour in zone, then you're not going to be able to get anything else in the session. If your team is not fit, it'll be hard to run. Obviously, you need a lot of energy to do it. And then the other thing is, which is a big one, is you got to accept chaos. What I mean by got to accept chaos is that it's not going to be structured the whole time, and you have to accept that. So your sessions are going to be messy. Your games sometimes are going to be messy. All right, but you have to be willing to accept that chaos. Types of full court press. Obviously, there's loads out there. Man, 2-2-1, 1-2-2, 1-3-1, run and jump, and junk. So there's loads out there. Which press do I use? All right. Now it's not as a case I see a team doing a press and say it's really good and I'm going to use it. The big thing is you have to see what kind of players you have and it suits you or not. All right. Do I want to play fast or slow? Do I want to play the opposition fast or slow? Now I will say on that is who you're playing against or who you're coaching. All right. So am I coaching youth? Am I coaching senior? All right. What do I want to do and what kind of players do I have? Does it suit you? All right, there's no point in you looking at somebody else and say, okay, they do it really well, I'm going to copy it. All right, unless it suits your team when you do it. What stage do I press? So what I mean by what stage, all right, so like do you start in a press? Do you do it after a timeout? Whatever the case may be. Like I love to start in the press, all right, because I feel it gives you a lot of energy, all right. So obviously you need energy to run a press. So if you have energy from the start, hopefully they'll bring energy from the full court to the half court. All right. Again, after a score. All right. Now, some coaches don't like to press after a score because they feel kids are not organized. And my saying to that is why I like to press after a score. It makes them get organized. If they don't get organized, then obviously bad things are going to happen. You're going to give up layups. You're going to, and so on. All right. So that it's making people like I have a huge issue with the girls I coach. They don't talk at all, right? So again, this is making them do something that they don't want to do. So like after a score, that someone like you will have mismatches. Someone has to pick up the nearest player and so on. After a free throw, all right. Now obviously it's a lot easier to press after a made free throw, all right. But obviously you can do it after a missed one, and then obviously the easier one is after a timeout. All right. Now I've seen a lot of coaches where you start in a press, then after a timeout, the coach switches it up. Or at the end of a half, all right, where the coach just throws in some kind of press, and then the other coach spends the whole of the half time trying to sort out that what to do against that press. So look, there's loads of tactics around pressing and so on from there. All right, attributes. All right. So you need to have certain attributes whether you're going to press, whether it's full court man or zone. All right, attitude is key. What I mean by attitude is, I suppose it's a case that you can never give up. All right. Like you're gonna get beat on defense. You got to keep going and you keep going. All right, and a lot of stuff down there all has got to do with attitude. But if you don't have a good attitude, you're not going to be able to press. Athletic. All right, so obviously it helps if you got a long wingspan. All right, if you're fast. All right, defensive foundations. So what I mean by defensive foundations, like if you don't have a good 1v1, all right, you're really gonna struggle in the full court. All right, if you can't keep someone in front of you. All right, so like being low, getting your hand position, body position. All right, one pass away. All right, seeing your player see the ball. There, what I'm talking about, defensive foundations. And heart and hustle has probably got to go into attitude. You all know them players that want to dive in the floor, want to go after, and they're a nightmare. All right, I'm sure I can think of loads of ones that I've coached down through the years that you'd hate to be marking you because they're just all over the place. All right, and they keep going and keep going. They're the people you want when you're pressing. Anticipation is key. So what I mean by anticipation is seeing where the next pass, where you can go, and so on. And obviously you need to be in good shape. All right, if you're pressing, all right, you're up in the ball or so on. All right, so a few concepts. So you can see there, pressure is big. All right, and I don't know how many times I've said it in practice and games about pressure. All right. Now, when you emphasize pressure enough, you have to give your team a bit of leeway. What I mean by leeway is they're going to get beat. If you keep saying pressure and you have to, like, there's no point in letting people just step off. All right, obviously that's the easy option. All right, just let a gap and they're not going to get beat, but they're not going to put pressure on the ball. All right, so you have to force them to get up and then teach them that teaching points of how not to get beat. All right, keep them out in the middle and look to turn the attacker. Like, obviously, when you're doing full court or you keep them out in the middle, they have less options. So you're looking to use the sideline as an extra defender. But look to turn an attacker multiple times. Now you need to be really good on that, and I'll show you certain clips on that. All right, so obviously if you turn them multiple times, then it's going to take longer to get the ball over the half. So you're trying to get ahead over the ball. On and off. All right, now I've said this a few times, you know, people have said to me about, oh, I'm not quick enough. If I go up in her, she's going to go by me. So my thing is that they have to get up on them for 2 seconds, get off them. All right, so they don't get beat. Get up on them for 2 seconds, get off them. All right, and have they, you know, made them uncomfortable. All right, so again, it's pressure, it's constant pressure the whole time. Defense is offense without the ball, and aggression probably go hand in hand. What I mean is defense is offense without the ball. You must dictate what they're doing. So if you want to let them to dribble sideline, you've got to force them to dribble sideline. It's not a case of you're waiting for them to decide what to do. All right, and obviously aggression is a big one. All right, now I'd rather someone that's overly aggressive rather under aggressive. So if someone's fouling the whole time, I'd rather bring it back rather than someone that's way too timid. All right, so obviously there's a line there, but you have to force people to get up, and then you can say when they're gone too far, you can bring it back. But I'd rather if someone is overly aggressive rather than under aggressive. In man or zone, don't look for steals that will present themselves. Too many times is people, you know, put themselves out there, as in, you know, they put their body out there and looking for a steal and so on. Right, where most of the time you'll see, like, you know, you're doing a zone and people are panicking already, besides you being all over the place. All right, so don't look for steals. And I keep telling my teams, just be structured. All right, if they want to pass you the ball, they will pass you the ball. They'll give it to you. You don't have to go after it. Don't run at different angles. So when you're playing 1v1, all right, people have a tendency when someone puts the ball on the floor to run beside them on their hip. All right, so the big thing is you must get off them, run at different angles, and get in front and make them turn. All right, there's no point in staying on the hip the whole time, all right, because they're just going to go dribble the ball down the floor. Don't be afraid of contact. Not every contact is a foul. All right, so let them come on to you. Let them initiate the contact. All right, so that's the aggression part, and you have to see the difference between contact and a foul. Active hands, which I'll talk about later, and blocking their vision. All right, we want broken arms, we don't want straight arms. All right, so be active as possible. And then big one is forcing the ball into coffin corners, and I'll go through that later in the trapping zones. But you want to force the ball where it's hard for them to play. Deflections. Deflections is key in any defense and an important part. All right, you want to disturb their offense. Whereas now I'm not talking so much about steals, I'm just talking about you deflecting the ball, and all you're doing is disturbing. All right, so if it takes offense a second or two to get the ball back and run an offense, so either the ball goes over here, they take 2 or 3 seconds, and it's 2 or 3 seconds off the offense the whole time. All right, so you're disturbing. Be active, boxer stance. So boxer stance is you're not flat-footed. So like a lot of obviously boxers are on their toes the whole time because they're reacting from the punches. So with a defender, they're on their toes and they can react left and right. All right, so they're a lot quicker. And same things I said to you, you must give players the freedom. You must give players the freedom to make mistakes. All right, so if you emphasize in your sessions or in your games that you're looking for deflections and someone gets beat or someone's fouls, that's okay. All right, but again, we're learning for that. All right, so if you emphasize something, you must give them a certain amount of freedom to do it. And I'll show you in the next one, keep track. I always, in all my games, I feel deflections are a sign of defensive intensity. So I'll show you in the next one. Now this is for 3 players. Obviously you do it for your whole team. All right, we are keeping deflection, you counter deflections, so for each quarter. All right, so like the first one, player's name there, they might get 2 deflections and you count up per quarter. Now what I've done in the past is deflections, I'll give them a goal. Okay, girls, we need 7 deflections here, you give 8 deflections here, whatever. All right, and then we're looking for totals. I'd rather give them per quarter rather than per game. And as the old saying goes, stats don't lie. So if someone's not playing or someone's not doing something, then you got to show them the stats sheet, you know. Inbound defender, really important part. So there's loads of different options. All right, and I would say it's crucial who you put on the inbound. All right, usually the most athletic person. Does it have to be a fast person? No, but they have to be smart. All right, now options with an inbound defender. Up on the ball close to the line. All right, so you get as close as possible, and if the referee needs to move you back, they'll move you back. All right, but your first step is get up to the line and just be active with your hands. All right. Seen it done before, more so in late in the games where they put 2 people on the ball. All right. So when they're putting 2 people on the ball on the inbound, all right, they're looking to get a steal. All right. So they throw the ball. I'll show you on the clips later of an example of this where a team just put 2 people on the ball and they're looking for a steal on it. If you're angle your body, if you're up on the ball, what I mean by angle the body, force the ball into the corner where you want it to go. So don't let the ball into the middle. All right. So you should angle your body and your hands where you want the ball to go. Another option. So you're back halfway between the 3 and the halfway line. What does this do? All right. So it allows guards to be a lot more aggressive. So they can mostly face guard their player because they're not afraid of the ball over the top, because the inbound defender is going to take the ball over the top. So again, just another option, all right, and gives your guards an option of face guarding and not letting the ball in. You could, like as I said earlier about if they're a star player, so you can double the point guard. All right, you don't want the ball to get, so you don't want the point guard to get the ball, so you can let someone else to get the ball. Or you can let the ball in, and then the inbounder can trap after the first pass. Like a lot of people, some coaches get their post player to put in the ball. So if you're trapping after the first pass, you're not so much worried about the ball going back to the inbounder, because you know they're going to hurt you they're not going to hurt you for full court. Okay, so defending away from the ball. All right, again, position is key. Now, what I will say with all of this, with on the ball and with off the ball, all right, and I think it magnifies what you do in the half court. So like if you get beat in full court 1v1, right, it really magnifies it because it really shows up. Where if you get beat in the half court in 1v1, it doesn't show up as much. So this is why, you know, I feel the skills for your full court really have to be on point. All right, and if they're not, they'll show up a lot more. So defending away from the ball, position is key. Don't be on your player, so don't be stuck to your player. Like the mantra that I give the players is 2/3 away from the ball, 1/3 away from my player. All right, and obviously you got to see player, see ball. Open stance. All right, open stance, make the court small, and I suppose fight to take away space. All right, what I mean by that is, you know, perceptions is everything in basketball. So if the point guard doesn't see space, right, they tend to panic. All right, no, it doesn't have to be a point guard, any guard. So you're trying to take away space the whole time. So if you're in close stance, if you're denying, then there's more space. So if you're open stance and show your chest, all right, so you're open to the ball the whole time, there's less space there, so they won't see it. Play in relation to your player and the ball, so you got to see both at all times. Up the line, off the line. All right, now you're not up the line, on the line. You're just off the line, all right, so the ball doesn't pass over your head. Again, keep them guessing. All right, so what you're going to do off the ball. All right, are you going to trap? Are you going to come back? And the other thing is patience. What I mean by patience is you're not jumping in. All right, you're solid. Don't make passes easy. All right, now we've all seen where point guards putting loads of pressure on the ball, and then they're able to dribble and they make a pass left or right, and the other person is not putting pressure on the ball. All right, so they're making passes easy. So if one person is doing full court pressure, I would say the whole team has to do full court pressure. All right, so not alone is a dribble hard, but the passes are hard. Recognize trouble. What I mean by recognize trouble is if someone gets beat, all right, you might have to help, you might have to rotate. So if you recognize it earlier, it's a lot easier to recover from it. Stunt and recover, all right? So again, the more times you do it, the easier it is. So you might fake the help and get back. All right, so you're stunting, you're moving the whole time. Again, you're active, you're in boxer stance, you're active. If attacker picks up their dribble, fully deny. So obviously you want someone to pick up their dribble, all right? So they're dead. So what I will say to the other ones is face guard. So don't let any pass in, all right? So we're getting up. Again, an option, red, yellow, green. Now, personally, I haven't done this, but I've seen other coaches do it where you could be in full court man, we're in red. So red means we're in trapping the whole time. Yellow means we're containing, all right? So if there's a trap there, we'll take it. And green is just on any dribble, we're retreating, all right? So it's only a token pressure, all right? So again, something you can give to your players. Trapping, all right? Now, there's loads of different rules on this, all right? So like you can't do everything. So I will say have your set rules of what you're doing on the trap, all right? And just give one or two and be good at doing one or two. And once you're good at the one or two, then you can move on. But I don't think that you can from the outset saying we're going to go throw all these different rules at you and just you're going to be good at them all. All right, so focus on one or two. If you decide I have a good trapping team, we're athletic, we're quick, all right, just give them one or two rules and say, oh yeah, this is what we're doing, all right, anytime she does, and just make sure they know what they're doing. Options, all right, so we're trapping the sideline, all right, and that's the only time we're trapping. We chase from behind, we trap and go in middle, all right, so there's different options there. It's up to you when you trap. Other option is attack any spin dribbles in the front full court, all right, so you're attacking a spin dribble because their head is turned. Rotation of players is key. Again, this, when you trap, people have to rotate, and it forces people to talk, and it forces people to move. All right, so it's probably another teaching tool as well. Attacker must be under pressure, an element of surprise. So if the person dribbling the ball is not under pressure, if they get their head up, and if they're really good, you're not going to be able to trap them. So they must be under pressure, and they must be a certain, and that's why I talked about you attacking in spin dribbles. Obviously they can't see you in the spin dribble. All right, are you chasing behind where they can't see you either? Smell the fear. What I mean by smell the fear is you can always see the person that doesn't want the ball, right, that wants to pass the ball the whole time. All right, so if you can smell the fear, go after them. All right, if you feel someone that's not good under pressure, all right, you'll see it straight away in their demeanor, what they do. All right, and obviously fake trap. All right, when you fake trap, they tend to pick up their dribble straight away, and when everyone gets trapped, that's the first thing they do. Is they don't retreat dribble. All right, most of the time is they'll just pick it up straight away. Trap hard and aggressive, form an L. All right, so they're not worse than someone, all right, breaking a trap. All right, so body up, take the space away. So if they pivot out, make sure you take the space and don't let them split. And the worst thing from a coach's point of view is fouls. So referees are looking to call a foul once you put in a hand. All right, use your body. It's very hard for a referee to call it. It's harder than it is. It's a lot easier if they see a hand in there. So get your hands up, and use your body, take away the space. Right, and obviously when it's a lot easier to trap when you have active and intelligent players than when you have it. Trapping zones. All right, so the yellow ones is the ones I talked about, coffin corners. So we want the ball to go into these areas. Blue ones are good ones because obviously you're using the sideline and the halfway line each time. Okay, so you're looking for an 8-second count. All right, so you're forcing the ball. If you're trapping, you're forcing the ball in. All right, the red ones. What I'll say about the red ones is, you know, when someone gets pressed, all right, obviously there's a bit of panic there to get the ball over the halfway line, and then that panic comes off. But what do? They pick up their dribble, and usually pick up their dribble just over the halfway line. All right, so hence they can't go back. All right, so it's a great area to trap. Okay, rotations. So pick the man closest to you. All right, so what I mean by that is you won't have time. Like if you're now, you will have time if it's after a timeout, but I'm saying after a score, or if you do after whatever the case may be. All right, so you have to allow mismatches. All right, if you're in man press, all right, you have to allow mismatches. Can't be worried about getting beat and blow boys. All right, so what I mean by, and then this is the same things I said before about giving people, you know, a bit of confidence that, you know, sometimes you are going to get beat. All right, and like obviously if you get blown by, then you're really in trouble, and that's a teaching point. Okay, but you have to give them that confidence that they have to pressure the ball. All right, the big thing, the player has to be occupied, all right, by you. They can't have their head up looking around if you're pressuring, whether it's man or zone. All right, the thing I give them is they have to be arm's length away. All right, and the other thing is the confidence thing. If you give them different points, if you do get beat, this is what's going to happen, so they know. All right, it's not the case if you get beat, you're going to get sit down. Now, it might be a case if you get beat 4 times, you might sit down. All right, but again, give them different things. So if you do get beat, what do? Do you chase them behind? You rotate? And obviously, if you make them pick up their dribble, just wall up and take the space. All right, which we talked about before. All right, so like there's different rotations that I'll go through. I'll just go through 2 of them here. All right, so now I always like to have the 3-man in this case make the call. All right, rather than the 2-man. All right, again, rotations. Do I practice this? Yes, I practice it. Just because, do I use it a lot? Not so much, but I use it for talking. All right, it's a great drill for talking. So again, when you're teaching people to talk, make sure you know the language and they know what to say, and it has to be short and simple. All right, so like there's no point telling someone to talk besides, okay, what am I saying, what am I doing? All right, so give them the short words what you're doing. So I just call this long. So basically 2 goes to run and jump or trap, all right, to here. Then 3 falls where 2 is and 1 comes back. So I call that a long one. All right, the next one, obviously it's short. So 3 stunts and recover. All right, obviously again 3 is calling it. So 1 is waiting for that call here. Am I long? All right, am I short? All right, so again, now don't run towards the player, right? Back to the basket and then the player. Obviously, if you run towards the player, then they're going to go by you. All right, so that's just 2 examples of rotations. All right, but there's numerous others. Again, here, use this now and again. Haven't used it too much. All right, so 50 defense would be full court man. All right, 40 defense is 3/4 court, 30 is just inside the halfway line between the 3-point line, 20 is half, and 10 is inside the 3-point line. All right, why would you use different things? Again, just keep the defense guessing. You might want to go from 10 to 50. All right, you might want to go to 40 because I want to allow the ball to go in. All right, and have different rules in different areas. Okay, we can only trap when the ball's in 30. We can only trap when the ball's in 20. All right, so again, it's just different options. All right, but I will say don't throw it at someone that's not used to it. All right, because you don't want to give them too much information. All right, but if you feel your team can handle this, by all means, all right, then use it. Zones. So loads of different zones out there, as I said at the start. Make sure you have principles when you're teaching zone, all right, of what my principle is, all right, and have 2 or 3 of them and work on it. If you are putting in a zone, you must give it time. All right, there's no point you think, oh, I'm going to get zone and I'm going to have it after 2 or 3 weeks and it's going to work. All right, like the first couple of times it's not going to work. All right, and you have to be willing to accept that. And I suppose the point of you've got to be willing to accept chaos. All right, so I would focus on whether it's the top of the zone or the back of the zone, and put time into it if you want to use it, if you think it's going to be good for your team. All right, but have principles and make sure everyone knows them principles. All right, okay, when the ball's here, what we're doing, and the ball's here, what we're doing. All right, anticipation, same thing. See your player, see the ball, see where the next pass is going. All right, high active hands. All right, now I teach when I coach the girls, it's always get your hands up, get your hands up. All right, so we're looking for pass it, hands that pass the height. Lads, so much keep their hands down and then are active enough to get their hands from their waist level up to passing level. All right. What I will say about know your job, it's really important. All right. I coach 2-2-1 press a lot, and I always get the same thing as, oh, I didn't move here because she didn't move there. All right. And so now I end up coaching 2 people or 1 person. So know your job and do your job. All right. And the other thing I'll say on this is make sure if you're teaching it, you're not just like, obviously people are better in different positions. Okay, this requires trapping, this requires running, but teach everyone every position. All right, like someone might be running in a layup and no way are they getting from a layup back to the back of the zone. All right, so it's a lot easier if they know all positions and they know all responsibilities and what they have to do. If you are using zone, video is great. I've used it numerous times. All right, obviously people learn by doing different things. All right, so if you can show them where they went wrong, or show them, okay, this is what I'm looking to do, or so they can see it. All right, now look, as I said, might be for your team, it mightn't be. Rotations are key as normal. Accept layups. What I mean by accept layups is too many times is I've seen teams put in a zone and then all of a sudden they give up 2 layups and then they go back out of it straight away. All right, but the thing is you have to realize, why am I giving up a layup? Can you try fix that first, right, if you want to do it? All right, but don't, at certain times you will give up layups. Like someone put in a zone and oh, we didn't get a steal, so I'm coming out of this. Like a zone against good teams is not going to get steals the whole time. They could slow it down, they'll rotate it. All right, but so it's up to you sometimes you have to accept layups in it. Right, you can't expect that it's going to work straight away for you. Pressure using the sideline as an extra defender. All right, so most zones you want the ball to go sideline. All right, and most of the time you want them to dribble. Now the odd time there might be a good point guard you want to get out of their hands, so you don't want her or him to dribble, so you want to get someone else to dribble. Run in the direction of the pass. What I mean by run in the direction of the pass, so the pass comes over your head. All right, And same thing, no straight line passes. So if the pass goes over your head, obviously the loopy pass is going to take longer to get there. When the ball's in the air, so are you. All right. So you have to move the whole time. All right. Through a pass or through a dribble. All right. When the ball's in the air, you have to move, and it's got to be quick. A few more. Make them do something they don't want to do. So if they don't want to do something, all right, make it so if they don't want to dribble, make them dribble. All right. The last thing you can do against most zones, if they pass or hit the middle or whatever the case may be, all right, so make them dribble. All right, so this is go back to the same thing where I said about pressure. So pressure the ball, all right, and get there. Position of attacker shoulders. So again, I suppose this is kind of anticipation. All right, see what they're doing and see where the ball is going. Most zones you don't want the ball to get in the middle. All right, so you got to keep it out in the middle. All right, it's just like if you're playing a normal 2-3 zone, the ball doesn't want to go to the middle, so you need to suck in. Again, responsibilities. Who's responsible when the ball's here? Who's responsible when the ball's there? And most of the time, when the ball gets to the middle, it's because someone hasn't talked or someone hasn't rotated properly. Don't deny. What I mean by don't deny, again, if you deny, you're allowing them to not see space. All right. What I mean, and give a taste. So if someone kind of sees a pass, they'll make a pass. Where if you're in their face and the pass is not there, sometimes you want them to throw the ball there because you can steal it or you can take it, or the ball's it's in a good trapping zone, so you want it to go there. All right, so don't deny and play between two. And obviously the last one is huge. And when I do run it, I feel they're a lot better on the full court when they go back to the half court in, because I'm making them talk so much in the full court. I'll just go through some clips. You see that there, Paul?
Yep, see it there now. Is that the second one we spoke about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, we talk about hands here, all right, and anticipation. All right, so we can see straight away there. All right, so here, hands up, and then we anticipate and get a steal. Okay, so again, we're forcing sideline on this one. All right, so we're forcing sideline. Okay, so in this case, we want her to keep going sideline. We don't want to bring her back middle. All right, and then this is where we lunge. All right, and we're out of position. Okay, so it's something we don't want to do. If we're keeping going sideline, we want to go sideline the whole time. Again, this is 2-2-1. All right, so taking up the space. All right, again, we have certain rules. All right, now you can see straight away, and certain times when people do this, they don't commit to it. All right, they're doing it half. Like if you're doing a press, I would me personally as a coach, I'd rather commit to it rather than doing. Oh yeah, so a lot of people would put these two people back in the key. So obviously you can see we played Austria there and the Europeans last year. There's 3 Austrians, so obviously there's 2 of them here wide open underneath the basket. All right, but we want to force long passes. All right, so if you're going to do it, commit to it when you're doing it. So again, we're in good position, hand position. Again, there's nobody close stance here, so we're playing between 2 the whole time. Again, 2-2-1 here. Okay, so you want to force a long pass. All right, so you can see straight away, there's 5 Ireland girls in the screen, so you can see, and this is what I talked about, when the ball's in the air, so are you. So you have to do your work when the ball's in the air. All right, so again, we get a steal when the ball's in the air. All right, because we're back to position. Again, we're in 2-2-1 here, so we're looking for a trap. All right, now you can see position, feet position. All right, and we're looking to form an L here then. Okay, so good trap, or we get a steal. All right, now we're forcing the ball over the top. All right, now Alex probably should have been back a small bit here. All right, 14. So in this case, we're looking for the ball to go over the top, and then we can get the top from it here. All right, so you can see even over here where Katie is off her player, she's not on her player. All right, we spoke about before in the. All right, this is Villanova. All right, so they have a 1-2-2. This is quarter court press. All right, now again, patience. All right, okay, they're in position. He's in the passing lane. Okay, and again, see the type of passes they're making. They're slow passes, which you want. All right, we're patient. and then they see a steal and they can go get it. Again, patience. All right, they're in position. All right. So again, and this is what I'm saying, coming from the passing lane. All right. So if he wants to pass the ball, it has to go over his head. Okay. And then they get a steal when he tries to pass it over his head. All right. Now at times, you know, your press is going to get beat. All right. But more than likely, the opposition is going to rush it. All right. They're looking for a quick layup. They're easily as to make a mistake as to get a score. All right. So in this case, they get beat down the sideline, but again, they turn it over. So position here, same thing. It's 1-2-2 press. Okay, and then we talked about trapping zones here, and that's one of the trapping zones we talked about. So he let the pass in, and then he can see a trap, and he wants to get rid of it straight away. Okay, body position here. All right, so we talked about no lateral passes. Reverse pass is fine, but no lateral passes. So that's why his footwork is key here. Okay, again, he's not allowing that pass, all right, because of his hands, and he gets a steal. Again, patience, right? I talked about before, you know, sometimes they're going to give you the ball. You don't have to rush at anything, all right? So they're panicking. He's looking for something, and he just throws the ball away. Again, position, feet position. Where do you want the ball to go to? All right. Okay, they're not panicking. They're not rushing in. All right, patience. Again, great area to trap. So letting the ball opened, and then he picks up his dribble. All right, so pick up the dribble, and the next two passes are denied. So we deny here, and we're denying here. Again, hand position, body position. Good press. Now look, this is what I spoke before. They haven't got a steal, all right, but it's still a good press like this. About 10 seconds gone off the clock there, I'd say. All right, now look, they rush it here, same thing. They rush their offense and they give away the ball. All right, so this is up higher. It's Kentucky. All right, so they're on the ball and they're trapping after the first pass. All right, so you can see body position, hand position, rotate and rotate, and we talk about rotations. So again, he's taking away the next pass, and hopefully someone else is taking away the pass after that. So again, being off your player. Again, 1v1 defense. All right, so we hustle, all right, and we get a tip. Again, now here you'll see, this is, I think this is Neve here, this is Abby and Alex. Now see their feet, and we talk about boxer stance on this one. All right, so we're up, we're moving, we're reacting. All right, so Alex is going to trap, and when Alex is going, then Abby's going to get here, so they're moving at the same time. So you can see straight away. All right, one person, and this is where we're going in tandem. All right, and we get a steal from it. I said before about, you know, contact. Don't be afraid of contact, and you'll see here. All right, we're keeping the ball out in the middle. All right, now this person, this friendly game against Portugal, and she's really good. All right, so you're not a case of you're going to steal the ball off her, but you're going to slow them down. All right, so you can see here in this clip. All right, so there's contact. Again, there's contact, but again, it's just pressure, and there's like they're running Iverson cut off here, and again, by the time they pass the ball over, again, you're disturbing their offense. All right, so again, this is Virginia. Now, if anyone's looking, this is Shaka Smart when he used to coach Virginia. All right, he's really good. He's got a good few tapes on his havoc. He calls havoc defense. All right, so you can see here, allow the pass to go in. All right, so again, they wanted to go into coffin corner. All right, so they're forcing it. All right, so it's pressure, and they got to travel. And this we talked about before, chasing from behind. All right, so he's going to trap. He's going to let him go up the sideline, and then he's going to chase him behind the trap. All right, and then rotation is key. Again, they're denying the point guard here. All right, and this is what I say about smell the fear. Now watch 14. All right, and this is what I'm saying, his demeanor. He doesn't want to dribble the ball. He doesn't want to bring the ball up the floor. All right, so they're denying the point guard over here, and you can see. All right, he takes a half a dribble. He's looking for somebody else. He's going to pick it up. And this is what I'm talking about, smelling the fear now. Picks it up, and he gives up a turnover. Okay, now again, attacking the spin dribble. All right, you can see he's uncomfortable. All right, and this guy sees it straight away. All right, so again, he's under pressure, attacks, and then they give over the ball. Again, forcing the ball in the middle. He's under pressure. Again, stunt and recover. He's always looking. He's always looking. All right, he's along the pass. All right, he's open stance. All right, he turns, and then he's able to get a steal. Okay, pressure, Virginia again. Now see, some people don't want to bring the ball to the floor. All right, there's nobody on him. All right, so if they are in the opposition teams, let them get the ball. All right, no stage does he look the ball up the floor. All right, so you can see he's always looking. He's always looking. He doesn't want to dribble it. All right, and again, they recognize this and they're able to trap. Okay, active. All right, hands position. All right, they got the ball where they wanted it, and they're all rotating after it. I talked about often miss free throw. Now this is pretty hard, but again, this the element of surprise. All right, so obviously blacks are missing a free throw, whites get the ball. All right, and they don't expect it all run away. All right, so here they're looking to trap straight away off it. Okay, and there's nobody there to help. All right, they're all gone. Again, active on the ball, trapping after the first pass. Again, making them uncomfortable. Okay, 3/4 court press, hand position, body position, patience. Okay, and they give away a 10-second count, I think, here. Okay, pressure on the ball. All right, pressure, and we get a deflection. Again, this is what I'm saying now about turning defender numerous times. Okay, so we turn, active, we turn, and then 8-second count. Again, chasing from behind. So you can see, letting go sideline. At the end, we chase the trap from behind, and we get a good steal. Again, 22. All right, so we're getting the ball up here. Now we're in good position. Now, just because it doesn't work doesn't mean you'll stay in it. And this is what I'm saying about committing to it. All right, we didn't work once. All right, they go back. All right, around the opposite side. We still stay in it. We're not backing off the whole time, so we're aggressive in it. All right, we're all up. We got a good trap. They pass the ball away. Now you'll see here, this is Oregon. All right, now obviously this is in the front court, but I've seen people do this. So there's 3 people on the ball. All right, so again, it's just you're looking for a steal. All right, so they're hoping to lob the ball up there and get a steal from here. All right, it's tactically used late in the game if you go for a steal. It's risky. Haven't seen many people use it, to be honest. Okay, a few more drills to finish. Okay, so what I will say about drills, just make sure you have a variety of them. There's nothing worse than, you know, I suppose from the kid's point of view or a player's point of view, that you're going in and you have the same practice the whole time. All right, there's numerous drills out there, and pick a drill that suits you. All right, so it has a purpose. What you're doing, why am I doing it? All right, like I'd rather do a drill for 4 minutes that's intense rather than do a drill for 40 minutes that's so be it. All right, so try keep it snappy. I think Niall talked about time and score, so I make sure every time have a score. Like I always like to do is splitting your group into team 1, team 2, put them against each other. All right, now you're on offense, you're on defense. What are you going to get? And different rotations on it. Challenge your players. What I mean by challenge your players, I suppose for you players, that if you've got a good player on your team, that you're giving him or her a different target. All right, you always have to keep challenging your players. All right, not necessarily has to be the same target for the whole team. All right, so you have to give them something different. Mentally tired. What I mean by mentally tired is that I keep saying to the girls that I coach that I'd rather you more mentally tired than you're physically tired, because you got to be always trying to figure out, because basketball game is trying to figure things out. All right, so you're not doing the same things over. So what I mean by figure things out, like sometimes you've got to figure things out in the court. So like just a small one, like when I do any of my drills, I don't tell them the rotations. I say, okay, team 1 here, team 2, you've got to figure out your own rotations. And then you'll see 1 or 2 kids and saying, oh, we could do this better, we could rotate here. and so on. So they're thinking the whole time. All right, like there's certain drills that I'll just give them the basics. I won't give them the teaching points, and then hopefully they'll pick up on that. Game like, all right, there's no point in doing something that unless it involves something that you're going to do in a game. All right, so if you're a full court pressing team, then obviously some part of your practice should be pressing in it. All right, there's no point in you doing something just for the sake of, oh yeah, I saw this good drill, all right, I'm going to use it, but it's nothing to do with how we play or so on. And obviously a big one I'm big into is breakdown drills, small-sided games. All right, decision making, break it down, see what they can do. Almost there. So a few more drills to finish off that I use a good bit. Deflection drill. All right, so blues of the ball, and this is where we talk about boxer stance. All right, so raids in the middle. All right, now obviously I use this with girls, so I use the circle as a guide. All right, so they're in between both, and there you get the deflection. No fake passes. Give the defender 5 seconds every time they pass. So if the ball comes to here, then raid has to get in between both. All right, so again, you're looking for deflections, and again, you might go for a minute, go for 30 seconds, and see how many deflections they get. All right, and you're gonna work it, and obviously the size will depend on who you're coaching. Deflection drill 2 defenders. Obviously, you move it out a bit, so there's more pressure on the ball here. All right, so when there's more pressure on the ball, this person's in the middle playing between 2. So again, I said about seeing where the defenders or the attacker's shoulders are facing. So if we can pressure the ball and force it this way, the person in the middle can edge to this side and take the next pass. So if the ball goes here, then we pressure the ball and we get back to the middle. All right, so again, it's working on defensive concept that we talked about. Last one, I really like this, hula hoop drill. Obviously, the reason I called it hula hoop is I had hula hoops when I did it first. So here you might decide to put 4 cones, so the reds are in the cones or in between the hula hoop, whichever the case. All right, now the rules are must be 2 people on the ball the whole time. All right, so first pass is free. All right, so the ball goes, obviously red is trying to, reds can only get the ball at a cone or in a hula hoop. All right, so 1 foot must be there, and then they must rotate, so 2 blues must be on the ball the whole time. Now this is an example when I gave this to somebody, and then I'm not telling them what to do, and then first time I did it, they tried to play man against it. All right, where I had 6 on offense or 7 on offense. Now judge it to whatever case. So if you want to put more on offense or more on defense, whatever. Is it a defensive drill? Yes, it is, but you could use it as offense drill. So what you're looking for is deflections, communications. Have 2 people on the ball. Where am I going? Someone's coming into your area, so it involves talking. All right, big drill we use a lot. And last one then, 1v1 full court. Again, reds have the ball here. They run in a layup. Blues get the rebound, and then reds must play 1v1 defense, and blues must try to get the ball in between the cones. Again, I allow 6 seconds. You could allow 7 seconds. It all depends what you're doing. Big thing is not to allow them to get steals, so they have to use their feet and have to use their body. All right, not the ball in between the cones. Really good drill that I've used before. And that's it.
Man, Tommy, very detailed, a lot of information there. I guess you have to be comfortable, as you said, as a pressing coach, and you have to be not willing, but kind of understand that certain things are going to go against you as a pressing coach. How do you handle the emotional element of that as a coach?
Again, I suppose it all depends on the level you're coaching. But like probably the senior players are going to ask, like, am I going to get taken out for this? Like, what am I going to get taken out for? So I suppose you have to give them guidelines of, okay, yeah, we have to learn from this. Whether if you're coaching underage, it might be a lot easier and say, yeah, look, sometimes it is hard because you're given wide open layups, but if you want to do this, I think you have to accept that at some stage and say, like might be certain teams that I know that if there's a certain player on the floor that I can't do my zone press because I know they won't pick it up. Whereas I have an idea in my head going into it where I have 6 players, 5 players that I know that are really good. So anytime they're on the floor, I can run it. If they're not on the floor, then unfortunately I can't run it because their intelligence levels are not where it should be.
And is intelligence the only criteria for you pressing?
No. Like as I said there, I think aggression, anticipation, pressure on the ball, like intelligence does help, and I've seen it does help, but it's certainly not the only thing. I've seen a lot of people that pick it up later. I see people pick it up because people talk to them on defense. So it is, I would say it's a big thing, but it's not the only thing.
So talk to me about how you decide which press you're gonna run, because say for example with our 2018 team, it was a 2-2-1 zone press we used, excuse me. It was a run and jump more because we were more athletic, we were more mobile, we didn't have a lot of stationary style players, whereas our 2019 team, we weren't as athletic, but we were very good positionally, so we didn't run and jump because we weren't athletic enough, but we 1-2-2, for example, which allowed us to have our two forwards back, say Sanmi and James Kinnear, or James Kinnear and Rapp, or Rapp and Sanmi. So like the style of player dictated the way that I would have liked to put pressure up the floor. So talk to me about how you decide that.
Yeah, so it's probably something similar. I just look at the players. Like what I tend to do is, like, especially with my club team, is I have a kind of stationary which would be say 22, 2-2-1, and then I would drill the principles of that, and then I would keep the same principles and use it for 1-2-2 or so on. So it's slightly adjusting it, but it's still the same principles once you do it. So you have a foundation then straight away. For international level, again, it all depends on what players you have. Like if you've got someone that's really athletic, a 1-2-2 full court, that they're going to get steals. Have I used run and jump? Yeah, I have used run and jump when you've got athletic guards. So yeah, as you said, it does depend on who you're coaching and what you're doing. But I think it's for in Ireland, it's very underutilized anyway.
Yeah, I would agree. So, and I actually need to look back and see who asked the first questions every evening. I think Puff was first in again tonight, so I'm gonna go back to that again. So as far as talking, like we all talk about it as coaches, what are you stressing when you're asking your girls to press communication wise?
What am I stressing?
So is there vocabulary? Is there spots on the floor?
Yeah.
Is there...
So there would be a certain vocabulary. Like I stress more so off the ball rather than on the ball. All right. So like obviously on the ball, a lot of people stress, okay, I've got ball, I've got here. Whereas I would stress like, okay, someone has to get into this position. So you're telling people where to go, because obviously there's different intelligence levels. All right, when you're coaching, so it's a lot easier if someone's got to run stuff and tell people what to do to come here. Again, it has to be short and snappy what you're doing. All right, but I would stress that there's a kind of an organizer of what you're doing. So like that rotation drill that I did, okay, you're responsible, short, long, what you're doing. All right, but again, I suppose with the girls I coach, like they tend to talk a lot off the court, but not on the court. So look, there's certain drills that I try do it. It could be a case of where, like I've done it before, where I have one team this side, another team the other side, who's the loudest, who's the more efficient. And you get certain people to stand up, and all of a sudden when one person does it, someone else decides to do it. Whereas you'll get certain people that won't start it, but will join in if somebody else does it.
Very good. Puff, again, there's about 3 questions in this one, so I might need to break them down bit by bit. So how are you holding your players accountable with this? If your teams allow 3 easy passes in a row in a game, how are you responding? And what about if it happens in practice? Is the response different? And that's interesting, because I was listening to something myself today about how you behave as a coach in practice and how you behave as a coach in games. So that's an interesting question, Puff, and it'd be interesting to hear what your thoughts are on it, Tommy.
Honestly, I don't know if I behave differently in practice than I do in games. I probably do, looking back at it. But I try to hold them accountable by, first of all, saying it to them. Obviously, if it doesn't work, then they sit down. You know, like my big thing is, okay, like it has to be pressure, pressure, pressure. So if you allow 3 easy passes, why you're allowing 3 easy passes? And you have to say, okay, someone didn't help, someone wasn't in position, or so on. So I suppose there's different ways of holding people accountable, whether you sit them down, where you tell them, where you know it's not working, or so on.
Do you use video in practice?
If I had the facilities, yes, I would. All right, but obviously, coaching club under 18, I wouldn't have the facilities, but coaching international at some stage, you would, yeah.
Very good. I'm going to leave your assistant, your graduate to last. Pat Curran. Tommy, great info. Thanks a million. Can I go back on one of your early slides where you were talking about on and off? Can you go into that a little bit more detail, how to teach that? How do you get young, eager players to have the discipline to perform it?
Yeah, I suppose I kind of picked this up just because I was asking a lot of people to, pressure the ball the whole time, and then which was right, they were getting beat the whole time. So they were allowing their players to beat just because they weren't quick enough. So it's a case of when I'm on someone, all right, I'm making them turn or so on, but then they change direction, then I must get off them and allow that gap, all right. So it's a case of I'm not on them the whole time, because like there's certain people that you like, if you're on them the whole time, then you're going to get blow bys, and then that's going to hurt you. So it's a case of I'm up, but again, this is a teaching point, and then when they know to get off. If you're on for too long, they're going to get beat. So again, I suppose it's a trial and error of who you're playing with. Okay, I'm up for 2 seconds, I'm off. I'm up for 2 seconds. And the other thing is, I suppose, it's a guessing point as well. The defender doesn't, or the attacker doesn't know what you're doing. Okay, this person's dropping off me, they're up me, they're dropping off, they're up. All right. So I suppose it's a teaching point in who you're playing against and what player you have and how long you have to be up for and how long you have to be off for.
Very good. I'm going to adopt that from you, Tommy, the on and off, because it's something I always know I'm going to get something, and that's probably the one thing I'm going to get tonight is the on and off. So thanks a million, Pat, for revisiting that one. Let's go to your old buddy, Carl Kilbride.
Can't wait.
And he warned me today he was going to put you on the spot. So anyway, Tommy obviously has so much experience at the Euros as both an assistant coach and head coach. And we've seen so many pictures online this week of him coaching at different games. Could Tommy hazard a guess at how many times he has ever been caught smiling in a photograph?
Maybe 1 or 2, I think.
Very good. Yeah, I'm
very hard to please.
So, Tommy, can I just go back on a comment you made earlier in the presentation? 2 things, actually. You mentioned about starting in a press, and we've got about 3 or 4 minutes left, so I'm going to hold you pretty quick on these ones. You said you press early. Do you always start a game in a press, or do you base it on who you're playing or the mood? So, for example, sometimes when I knew there was a lethargic mood, and I'd decide I'm going to press with them early just to kind of get the energy going or whatever. So, what do you press always from the beginning, and if so, why do you do that?
So in club games, I would press always at the start. Now it all depends on the warm up, and I look at them and say, okay, yeah, we're able for it, we're not able for it. But like I just feel when you do press, we have to have energy. If we don't have energy, we're going to get beat straight away. And then if we get beat straight away, then I'm not happy, and the players don't like when I'm not happy. So hence we just get that energy. Now, does it always happen? No, but for most of the time, it does happen where we're up and we're pressuring, and they bring that energy back to the half court. Then now I will say in the Europeans, it all depends on who you're playing. All right, okay. And especially rotations wise, like if you're only rotating 6 players, then pressing from the start, yeah, but do you take it off after a minute or 2 minutes, or you could get burned in the first minute and then all of a sudden you're wasting a timeout or so on. But in general, I would.
Okay. And my last question, if nobody else brings one. Oh wait, there is 2 more after coming in. So I want to finish on my question last for a specific reason. So Georgiego has been at every one of them, fair play. When running the press, do you designate a talker? Sorry, no. When running the press, do you designate a talker? We always had the person at the back to call the coverage. Also, basketball intelligence has been mentioned again today. Would you run presses with a high IQ unathletic team sooner than a low IQ athletic team?
Okay, so the talker one first. No, I don't designate a talker because it usually happens that they're out there anyway. But I'm looking for everyone to talk. So hence, if I designate one person, I feel that gives them the other people the out for not talking, if you know what I mean. So like usually, I might when I often do it, just pull someone over and say we're in 22 or we're in 121, and then they have to. Now, at certain times I've done it and it hasn't happened. You know, they've told 3 people and they forgot to tell the other 2 people. So again, I can hold that person accountable then. The other question is, yeah, I think basketball IQ is massive. So I'd rather do that with an unathletic team than with an athletic team that have a poor IQ.
Okay. Jim Dudley, do younger players get mentally tired, and does this affect short, low rotation teams? It says short bench teams, but I think what Jim means is a low rotation team where you only have 6 or 7 players.
Yeah, I think people do get mentally tired, but that's why you try to practice it as much in practice as you can. So you're challenging players. If you're not challenging players in practice, then they're not going to be challenged in a game. So you know, like different things of rotations, about can we do this drill a better way? Like at certain times, I just tell my point guard, give me a defensive drill, and they got to go do it, and they've got to think they got to think of something on the spot, which happens in a game as well. You know.
Perfect. Last question, because no more have come in, and I'm not going to take any more. You mentioned at the start of your presentation about not doing it with young players. This is where you and I might slightly disagree, but talk to me about why not.
Now, like I spent a bit of time in Spain at a club for about 5 or 6 days, and they pressed from the start under 10, under 11, under 12. Now, the only reason I wouldn't do it here is because unfortunately, I don't trust coaches. Where if I did trust coaches, I would tell them to press the whole time. Where if there was my fear is that the strong person will dominate, and the weaker person that's on the court won't get enough time or won't get enough touches, and the game's going to be over because one person dominates, and the coach is going to let one person dominate the whole time, by stealing, by running it in, by passing the ball, or whatever the case may be. But if we allow press from the whole time, then as my earlier point about if defense is good, then offense has to be good. So you're going to get a lot more ball carriers. Like I suppose that's the question I asked Spanish coaches: why is he letting his under 12s? Why is he letting his under 12s press? Because that's going to happen later in life. So it's a lot easier to deal with it now than it is to deal with it when they're 20. You know, so they have to develop certain skills. If they don't have a skill, the ball's going to get taken off them. So I suppose it all depends. I would love to, if you know what I mean.
So Tommy, thanks so much for your time. It's been a pleasure listening to you. It was really detailed, really energetic, and I suppose that goes in line with you being a pressing coach, because you got to have that energy for it. So just to finish up, guys, a couple of announcements. I'm going to start moving all the clinics onto YouTube. They'll be up there by Saturday morning. So I'm going to spend the day tomorrow moving up there. So if I can get them out tomorrow night, I will, but they're going to be online by first thing on Saturday morning, all the clinics. I've one to fix. We're having some technical issues with the Colin O'Reilly one, so I need to fix that one somehow or other, but that will get up there as well. We've three nights remaining. I'm going to leave it at that and then figure out, hopefully next week, I don't see us being lifting lockdown anytime soon. I think they're going to extend the May 5th from what I'm hearing. So we will then figure out if we go back or not, but feel free, move over to Rend and leave them give us some extra information, because I'm going to tune into those as well, and we'll see where that goes. And then if the lockdown continues, we might look at reintroducing some stuff, and we'll go from there and figure it out. But we've got 3 speakers remaining, 1 on Sunday. Still trying to tidy up a few details, but we're close to finalising that. Tuesday night, we got Mike Bree, very excited for that. Worked with him a couple of times. Really love some of the stuff and some really great teaching points for point guards as well. And he's going to talk about the player journey. Really excited by that. And then on Thursday, we finish up with the referees. I'm actually looking forward to it because the 2 people in, Emma Perry and Magic, are going to be talking to us. 2 female officials. A good chemistry with the 2 of them. I like them, and we're going to get going on it. And they're going to talk about the 0 step, which I think we still need to nail in this country. They're going to talk about transition contact, which is the old cynical fouling they used to call it, and what's the term is on sports and like foul and so on and so forth. And then talking about, which I think is important, the player coach and coach player referee relationship on the floor. So we're going to finish it at that. I'll announce more details next week of the coach mentorship program that we're going to try and implement. And hopefully we'll try and get going over the summer. If not, then we'll definitely have it in place for September. But I'd like to get it going for the summer if we can get back in the court and go from there. So thank you to everybody. I'd like to thank Mary Maguire for doing such a great promotion job for us to get this off the ground as well over the last number of weeks. She's been an absolute dream for us to get it ready and promote everything and get you guys on here. And also a big thank you to all our frontline staff for keeping us safe, and hopefully we can get the numbers back down. A couple of bad days for the last few weeks, and we get it going from there. So please tune in on Sunday night, next Tuesday, and then we'll finish up on the Thursday. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you all, being in your company, and you've been an absolute blast. Some great people have been on, and I love seeing the same people come back every night, and hopefully we've delivered a good program for you guys over the last couple of weeks. So thank you all. Have a great night. Enjoy the weekend, and I shall see you guys on Sunday night. Tommy, thanks a million. Been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing you over the coming weeks. All right. Thank you, guys.